This week isn't just big, it's game-changing. General Hospital.
Hello everyone. Welcome to my GH Hospital Drama channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we dive into today's explosive recap, make sure you hit the subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up so you never miss the latest drama, secrets, and shocking twists from General Hospital. Trust us. Today's episode is one you'll be talking about for weeks. The storm before the explosion. On General Hospital, Sunday's March 8th, 2026 episode didn't simply raise the stakes, it blew them apart. Port Charles has faced mob wars, betrayals, secret affairs, and life-or-death medical emergencies before. But what unfolded tonight felt different. Darker. More dangerous. For months, viewers suspected that Gerald Sidwell was hiding something sinister behind his polished smile and carefully chosen words. He always seemed to appear at exactly the right moment, offering just enough help to appear useful, but never enough to reveal his true motives. Now we know why. Because tonight, the mask finally slipped, and the truth behind Sidwell's deadly operation sent shockwaves through Port Charles. And at the center of it all, a man who simply wanted to do the right thing. Lucas Jones. A sinister opening in the rain. The episode opened with a scene so eerie it immediately set the tone. Rain poured steadily down a dark alley behind General Hospital. Streetlights flickered against the wet pavement, creating long shadows that stretched across the empty parking lot. Then, silently, a figure stepped into view. Dressed in a dark coat and hat, the man moved with calculated precision toward a sleek black sedan parked near the hospital entrance. Without hesitation, he slipped a folded note beneath the windshield wiper. The camera slowly panned upward. And there he was, Gerald Sidwell, standing perfectly still in the rain, wearing that same chilling smile viewers have come to dread. If this were a thriller movie, this would be the moment the audience collectively whispers, "Oh no." Because Sidwell didn't look nervous. He looked satisfied. Lucas makes a terrifying discovery. Meanwhile, inside the hospital, Lucas Jones was finishing what had clearly been another exhausting shift. Anyone who has watched Lucas this season knows he's been running on pure determination. Long hours in the ER, constant pressure, and a lingering sense that something wasn't right behind the scenes. As he entered the parking garage and approached his car, he noticed the note immediately. At first, he almost ignored it. Just another piece of junk paper, right? But something stopped him. Slowly, Lucas unfolded the note. The camera zoomed in just enough for viewers to read the message written in thick red ink. They know everything. Lucas froze. His face drained of color in an instant. And suddenly the months of quiet investigation, the strange supply discrepancies, the uneasy feeling that someone was watching him, it all rushed back at once. He quickly grabbed his phone. First, he called Brad Cooper. Voicemail. Then Felix Dubois. No answer. Finally, he tried contacting Hamilton Finn regarding a consult scheduled earlier that day. But the nurse delivered unsettling news. Finn had called in sick. Under normal circumstances, that wouldn't be alarming. Tonight, it felt like the beginning of something much worse. Portia's moment of realization. Across town at the elegant Ashford Jazz Lounge, Portia Robinson was enjoying a quiet Sunday brunch with her daughter Trina Robinson. Or at least, that had been the plan. Trina was scrolling through research articles on her laptop when Portia's eyes suddenly locked onto the screen. Her smile vanished. Displayed on the monitor was a pharmaceutical trial document, one Portia recognized instantly. Her hands trembled because she had seen that exact document before, years earlier. inside Sidwell's private office. Back then, Sidwell had assured her it was part of a legitimate clinical research project. Portia had briefly consulted on the study before quietly walking away, unsettled by several unanswered questions. Now those same documents were resurfacing, and suddenly the past she thought was buried came roaring back. "Mom," Trina asked, noticing her expression. "You look like you've seen a ghost." Portia could barely respond, because the truth she had avoided for years was suddenly impossible to ignore. And if she was right, Lucas Jones was in serious danger. The flashback that changed everything. Then came one of the most powerful sequences the show has delivered all year. A long, dramatic flashback revealing the full scope of Sidwell's operation. 2 years ago, Lucas began noticing small irregularities in medication inventory logs at the hospital pharmacy. Tiny discrepancies. Numbers that didn't quite match. Most doctors would have assumed it was a clerical error. But Lucas kept digging. What he eventually uncovered was horrifying. Sidwell had secretly infiltrated General Hospital's pharmaceutical supply chain to distribute an experimental compound that had never been approved for human use. The drug had one terrifying capability. It could perfectly mimic the symptoms of a natural cardiac arrest, meaning someone could be poisoned and doctors would believe they died of natural causes. The perfect undetectable murder weapon. And Sidwell had been quietly selling it to buyers overseas. Lucas had uncovered everything, which meant Lucas had become a problem. Witnesses start disappearing. The flashback continued, and each revelation grew darker. Over the past 6 weeks, anyone who might have been able to corroborate Lucas's findings had mysteriously vanished from Port Charles. A hospital administrator suddenly retired. A pharmacist abruptly relocated. A night shift nurse resigned without explanation. At the time, nobody connected the dots. Now the pattern was undeniable. Sidwell was cleaning house. And Lucas was the final loose end. The Pier 54 confrontation. The episode's most intense moment took place at Pier 54, shrouded in fog and crashing waves. Lucas arrived expecting to meet a lab technician who had been secretly helping him gather evidence. Instead, he found only one man waiting. Sidwell. Calm. Unbothered. Dangerous. "You've been very busy, Doctor," Sidwell said quietly. Lucas stood his ground. "Whatever you think you're going to do tonight," Lucas replied. "People know where I am." Sidwell smiled. "No," he said softly. "They really don't." The tension was unbearable. It felt like violence could erupt at any second. And then, headlights sliced through the fog. Police cars. At the front of them stood Dante Falconeri. Portia had figured everything out and called him directly. Sidwell was surrounded, arrested. But even as officers placed him in the back of a squad car, he delivered one final warning to Lucas. "This isn't over," Sidwell said coldly. "The people I work for don't stop." The final twist that shocked everyone. For a moment, it looked like the nightmare was over. Sidwell was in custody. Lucas was safe. Or so it seemed. Later that night, Lucas returned to his locker at the hospital to grab his coat. Inside, he found something waiting. Not another note. A photograph. It showed Lucas and Brad together inside their apartment. Taken recently, meaning someone had been watching them. Printed across the bottom of the picture were 5 chilling words in red ink. Sidwell was the warning. The screen cut to black. What happens next? Monday's preview promises even bigger chaos. The Port Charles Police Department begins investigating who Sidwell was truly working for. Portia must confront the consequences of secrets she kept hidden. And Lucas makes a bold decision that could put everyone he loves directly in danger. One thing is certain. Sidwell may be behind bars, but the real enemy is still out there, watching, waiting,
and ready to strike.
If you enjoyed this full recap of General Hospital, don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe bell, and comment below with your theories. Who do you think Sidwell was working for? And is someone inside General Hospital secretly helping them? Because if Sunday's episode proved anything, the real danger in Port Charles has only just begun.